In February of 1972, John, Orrin, Adam, and I hit the road for a railfan tour of Pennsylvania. Don Imus had just started working at WNBC, and Don McLean's American Pie was on the radio everywhere. Our first stop was Altoona. John had talked our way into a tour of the Juniata shops. My long hair got lots of stares and comments. No photography allowed, so these pictures, taken some years later, are from the Library of Congress collection. That night, we parked at Horseshoe Curve, wrote our names in the snow, and slept in the van. I don't think we could get away with that today, but back then, nobody bothered us. By morning, the frost on the windows was so thick, we couldn't see out. The day was gray and very cold. There was no wind, and in the silence we could hear the rumble of approaching triple-headed SD-45s long before they came into view. I don't think I've ever gotten as chilled as I did standing in the snow there. It was so cold the camera lens froze and wouldn't focus. From Horseshoe Curve, we headed south to Orbisonia in the East Broadtop Railroad, which was running a winter spectacular. We got there Friday afternoon and saw some of the preparations. But there was a major snowstorm that night and the region got covered. Saturday morning, when the crew brought the engine onto the Armstrong turntable, the pit was too full of snow to turn it. So number 14 posed for a few pictures, then slid back into the engine house. So much for the winter spectacular. The snow closed the road we'd used to get into Orbisonia, so getting back out required a long detour on the Pennsylvania Turnpike to get to Strasburg. We stayed at the Amish Lanterns Motel. I paid John a couple of bucks for a sleeping bag space on the floor of his room. Sunday was one of those cold, clear, windy days. The van got caught in drift and had to be winched out by a friend's Jeep. Number 90 had plow duty that day. The snow and ice pushed a tender truck off the rails, and there was a delay re-railing that. Finally, it picked up the plow and set off. We did not follow along, but waited in Strasburg for her return. And here she is, returning at the end of the day, caked with snow, the late afternoon sunlight catching the wind blowing across the frozen fields. That fall, I got a haircut, left for college, and started a new phase of my life. I lost touch with Adam. John and Orrin became summertime railroad boomers and volunteered on tourist roads in the Northeast. It was a good number of years before I went on another railfan road trip like this one.